Hey guys, Amanda here with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about HOTshot trucking. So today I have a little extra time. It's Monday. Normally we would be on the road, but we need to do some routine maintenance to the truck, and my husband's exhausted from grinding it out last week. We stayed out in like the Nebraska, South Dakota area for a little bit. Definitely paid off. Made some extra money for Christmas time. So we're just kind of taking it easy today and recovering. The baby's down for a nap and my son's at school, so I would much rather be making a helpful video instead of doing the folding the mountain of laundry that's behind me that you can't see. I'm also having a really bad hair day today, so I'm going to distract you with my cute little sunflower hat. All right, to get into it, I'm going to talk about kind of the beginning dispatching essentials today. I had zero dispatching experience before I started doing this. My husband, when he first got into HOTshot trucking, I had no idea what it was. I didn't know anything about it. Wasn't interested in being part of it at all. I just kind of, the business took off to the point where he needed me to start helping him and doing all of this stuff. So first things, I like to call them dispatch essentials. And I mean, you may find that the things I do don't work for you, but I find them helpful. So I have right in front of me, on the wall in front of me, one of those marker board calendars. I use that. I put my husband's pickup points and his drop-off points. That way I can look right at it. I know exactly where he is and you know, at all times and where he has to go. Usually if you want to be on top of it and you want to keep the ball rolling, and once you get one load booked for the day, you're not done. You really want to try to, like I said, keep that ball rolling, keep the momentum going, get your driver booked out as far as you can go. That will make everybody's lives easier. You need a calculator. I just use a calculator on my phone. I also have a big fat desk calculator. You'll have to be calculating miles and rate per mile, all of that good stuff. A notebook just for scrap paper. I've about filled this one up already. I'm on my second one. Once again, writing down important information when you call brokers. They don't always put important information in the comment section. Usually it's just the pickup and drop off points and the weight and the length of the load. You don't really know any details until you call the broker. So you'll have to write those down. Definitely need a printer and a scanner or fax machine to print out rate contracts. Not a lot of the brokerage companies, the bigger ones, have the really convenient online contracts where you can just type everything in and do an e-signature. But there's still, I say it's about 50-50 now, where I still have to print off contracts and scan them and email them back into the company. Envelopes. I just use basic mailing envelopes for our paper trail stuff. Anytime my husband is out on the road and he gets a receipt for something, he has, let me grab it real quick, I'll show you. This has kind of become very helpful. One of these clipboards, hard plastic clipboards that you can keep things in. Sticks his receipts in there, and then when he gets home at the end of the week, I stick them all in an envelope. And then I have banker boxes, throw that in the banker box at the end of the month. I also keep one of these folders for each month. I stick all of our rate contracts in, and once my husband gets home with, you know, his receipts and everything and the bill of lading, I just slap that bill of lading onto the corresponding rate contract, stick it in the folder. At the end of the month, I take that and my receipt envelope, throw them in the banker box. There's your paper trail in case the IRS decides to attack you. What else do I have that makes things easier? Oh, in the beginning, I didn't understand what any of the terminology meant. Rate con, BOL, MC number, military time. I'm still not 100% on that. So I came up with this little cheat sheet thing, little corkboard that I keep by my desk. So I put down our MC number, our DOT number, EIN. You're going to need that every time you fill out a rate contract. You also need to fill out a W-9. So that's very handy to have. If you decide that you're going to go with a factoring company, they want to know where to remit payments to. Sometimes they want to know the factoring company's, all of their information, address, phone number, fax number. I have all of that on my cheat sheet. They also want to know your insurance information. So I have all of that. That way I'm not wasting a bunch of time shuffling through paperwork to find all of that information. Another thing that I did, one of the load boards that I use had a helpful little cheat sheet. You'll find that when you log onto the load boards, it'll say F or FV or let's see what else is on here that's weird. VINT. I didn't know what any of that meant. So I downloaded this little cheat sheet from one of those load boards. That way, now I know what all of these things mean. And if they pertain to me, I also have a military time cheat sheet as well. That way I don't mess up on my times. So that has become something that's very helpful. Eventually, you will have your MC and your DOT member memorized. You can just rattle that off real quick. So the next thing, what do things mean? Oh my gosh, I was so confused in the beginning. So first off, rate con. When my husband said that, I'm like, a raccoon? What? Huh? Rate con is your rate contract. The rate contract is the first piece of paperwork that you get in the whole process of booking a load. So you find your load, you decide you want to book the load. If you are not already set up with that particular company, brokerage company, they will send you a carrier packet via email. So you will fill out that carrier packet. You're either going to have to print it out or, like I said earlier, a lot of them have switched over to doing these online, which is very fast and convenient. Fill out the carrier packet, get that done. You send that in to them. Then they will send you a rate contract. Print that off, read it over completely. That's going to have your specific pickup and drop-off locations. That is going to have any special information on there, whether the item is going to need tarped. It should have specifically what the commodity is that you'll be picking up. It will have how much you're getting paid on there, and you have to sign that. It has pickup and drop-off times, everything on there, everything you need to know for the load. So what you need to do as a dispatcher, it's very important that you take a minute to read over that whole contract, make sure everything is good. I've had brokers tell me, oh, it's just this one thing, and then we'll settle on a price. I'll get the rate contract, and they've thrown like this small little crate in there that was not discussed. Then you're going to have to call them and be like, I'm not taking that crate unless you give me an extra, couple $100. So yes, definitely check over your rate contracts. So once you have determined that your rate contract is in order, sign that bad boy, scan it or fax it, send it back to the broker, then you're good to go. BOL stands for Bill of Lading. That is probably the most important piece of paper that you will have. Your driver gets the BOL. 9 times out of 10, the pickup point, I believe, will have the BOL. That's how the facilities know what you are picking up and dropping off. That has all the important information on there that the facilities need to know. That absolutely has to be signed by your drop-off point. I think the pickup point too needs to sign it, and your driver has to sign that. You do not get paid if you do not have a BOL. My husband will usually, as soon as it's signed, he'll send me a picture of the BOL, and I can just email that to our factoring company, and everything is good. That's how we get paid. But that's what the BOL stands for. COD, see a lot of loads that say COD, cash on delivery. I think everybody knows that. But I wanted to mention that you need to be kind of wary about COD loads. Doesn't always mean that you're going to get paid on delivery. We had a COD load that we took, and it took them, I think, 2.5 months to mail us a check. It was ridiculous. So just be wary of that. There's sometimes if a load is a COD load and it's paying some unimaginably good rate, then it might be a scam. They may just, be having you pick something up and dropping it off, and you'll never see that money. And if you're just a teeny tiny little two-man team like my husband and I are, there's not really a whole lot that you can do about that. And it happens to people. TWIC. I called on a load in the very beginning of all of this one time, and the guy said that we needed a TWIC card, and I was like, what's a TWIC card? And a TWIC card is something that you have to get through the TSA so that you can get pick up and drop off loads in government shipping yards, is what that is. We actually are in the process of getting our TWIC card. I think we're going to get it in the mail here soon. It's actually a pretty easy process to go through, and I definitely recommend getting one. The TWIC card loads, wow, how's it going? The TWIC card loads, those rates are great, and the TWIC card will pay for itself like 3 times over after you take one of those loads for the first time. Let's see here. ELD, electronic logging device. There's all kinds of apps out there for them. I'm sure that if your spouse is getting into this business, that they already know what that is, and they know what they are finding one that they need to get. But that's going to tell them how many hours that they're driving and all of that good stuff. If they happen to get pulled over, the police officer will ask for their ELD. They want to look at that and make sure that they're not over on their time. So that's what that is. A lot of brokers now like to use a thing called Macro Point. It's essentially just to track a way to track the load, but it would be something that your spouse would have on their phone. Like I said, it's just a way for them to track the load. So that's all I can think about that confused me in the beginning, but that's all that stuff is. My third thing is know your equipment. You need to know how much you can scale, so how much weight you can haul legally. We can scale up to 9,500 pounds. You need to know the dimensions of your trailer. One thing, if your trailer has ramps and you find something, a vehicle, basically, that if they're going to be using the ramps to get up onto the trailer, you need to make sure that the vehicle is not going to be overhanging over those ramps, so when they put them back up, so that they can get the ramps back up, essentially. So you need to know that. I mean, technically our trailer is 25 feet long, but if it's a vehicle that we need to haul and something that needs to use our ramps, then it can't be any longer than I think 21 feet. That's something that's important to know. It's something that I just learned recently as well. And then your tarps, you need to know what the dimensions of your tarps are, like essentially how much square footage you can cover, how tall the item is, how long the item is. Are your tarps going to be able to cover that? So definitely know those things. I know the loads on these load boards, they go really quick and it can be really intimidating at first, but my advice is take your time. Read through these loads, do your homework, calculate your mileage, calculate your rate per mile. Make sure that your driver, your spouse, is going to be able to take this load and do a good job. Do all of your homework. Don't let the brokers intimidate you. I think I mentioned in my first video, sometimes they can come off as a little rude, but they're not. They're just trying to do their job. The time is money in this business. Yeah, so it'll take some time. It took me about 2 months to feel really comfortable with it. I was scared to death to talk to these brokers at first, but you will learn, and your confidence will just build and build and build the more loads you book. Yeah, so that's all I have for today. Once again, if you have any questions for me, please feel free to leave them in the comment section, and I will be more than happy to answer them the best that I can with another video. So stay safe out there, guys. See you later.